These are all in the higher sense. What use is this to our daily routine? In fact, there are many benefits to it. We talk about equality these days, samata, these equality, ideas of equality. In other schools of thought, we don't even have to go until the Abrahamic schools of thought. Even within our schools of thought, there are some very problematic concepts that come despite their claims of equality. For example, if I tell you that Dvaitins have a system wherein some jivas are nitya narakis and some jivas are nitya swargis, will you believe that? That there are some souls that are eternally damned to Naraka and some souls that are eternally going to go to Swarga. Is this a concept that is particularly equal? Not at all. This is in fact, a very divisive concept that some souls are permanently going to be in hell. And in fact, it sounds very Abrahamic. And it is very Abrahamic in nature. Right? So these kinds of concepts will only come when you say that there are many jivas who are inherently separate from each other. The second you say that there are many jivas who are inherently separate, you have thrown equality out the window. The second you say that there is only one Chaitanya, that is Paramatma. Regardless of who you are, regardless of where you come from, that Paramatma is the Atma that is in all of you. Therefore, everyone's Atma is equally pure, inherently pure, because it is the same Atma. Only the Advaiti can make this claim. So, anyone that wishes to have a vision of equality, a vision of diversity and equality, only the Advaiti will be able to say, because only the Advaita will be able to say that in every jiva, it is the same Paramatma. Any differences that you see are merely surface level. They are not differences in your true nature. So your true nature and my true nature are not different at all. For this Janma, you have gotten one body, in this Janma, I have gotten one body, so the bodies have to do their duty. Otherwise, you and I are no different in essence. So, that is why Bhagavad Pada has said, Tvai mayi chanyat tvaiko Vishnu vyartham kupyasi mayi asahishnu. This is the heart of Advaita. How is Advaita applicable to the modern world? Like this only. In you and in me, there is only one Atma. That Atma is not just something, but it is in fact that Atma that both of us are worshipping as Vishnu. That Paramatma that you and I worship as Vishnu is there in you as your Atma and in me as my Atma. So then, why should we quarrel at all? The only difference between you and me is that for now, for this Janma, we have different bodies. Who knows what is going to be the next Janma? But our essence is the same. We are all related. If blood relation itself is supposed to be such a unifying relation, what more for the Advaiti who can say that your Atma and my Atma are the same? Only our bodies are separate, but our Atma is the same. What is the sense of, we say that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam? Only the Advaiti can have that because for him the Vasudha is his Kutumba. Not just because we are all the same. Antaryami is there. Antaryami is there everywhere. Antaryami is there in trees and rocks also. But for every single Jiva to say your Atma and my Atma are the same Chaitanya is connecting all of us. In fact, even in Vedanta, that is why that Atma is called Sutra Atma. Like a thread connects all the flowers in a garland. There is one Atma that is connecting all the bodies that exist in the Srishti. So, the concept of brotherhood, equality, camaraderie, all of this is only possible in Advaita, not in any other theistic school. The second thing is diversity of thought. Only Advaiti can say that you can worship any form of that Paramatma that you want, it makes no difference to me. I will not call you Tamasa, I will not call you a Mayavadi, I will not say that. I am not making up these things. You can go to YouTube. There is one very famous ISKCON person who has said that anyone who says Om Namah Shivaya will become a Bhuta Preta Pishacha. He has said this. See, why does this come? It is because their system has fed hate and divisiveness into their mind. It is not their fault in some sense. It is their system's fault. So only the Advaiti will say, I don't care if you have Urdhva Pundra or Bhasma. I don't care if you have Vishnu or Shiva or Devi. As long as you are worshipping Paramatma, the Tattva of Paramatma is the same. We are all worshipping the same Tattva. So if you go to a Vaishnava and you ask him, who are you worshipping? I am worshipping Vishnu. Very good. What is the nature of that Vishnu? Oh, he is Sarvajna, Sarvashakta. Because of him only Srishti Sthiti Laya happens. He will respond to Bhakti. Okay, very good. You go to a Shaiva. Who are you worshipping? I am worshipping Shiva. What is his nature? He also Sarvajna, Sarvashakta, Srishti Sthiti Laya Karaka. Anyone who does upasana of him, he will give the fruit. Okay, it sounds like you are worshipping the same. No, that is Vishnu. We are Shiva. What have you changed? We have only changed the name and the form. But the entity, the fact that there is an entity, that is Sarvajna and Sarvashaktam, the cause of Srishti Sthiti Laya, is common throughout. So, it is only when you understand that this entity does not have a particular name and a form. Our rishis have seen particular names and forms, and that is what they have given us, and that is what you are free to choose from that. Only if you accept this will you have diversity of thought, which is why we are lucky that Shankaracharya came before any other Acharya. Only because Shankaracharya came first, could any other Acharya come up with any other Siddhanta after that. If anyone else had come first, it would have become a unilateral system. Everyone else that differs from that would have been wrong. Wrong means tamasic. Tamasic means avedika. Oh, they will put so many names for that. But only because Shankaracharya came first and he said that you worship Paramatma however you want. Any name and form you worship Paramatma. The important thing is that you worship Paramatma. And even more important is that you figure out who that Paramatma actually is. So if you figure that out through Vishnu, well and good. If you figure that out through Shiva, even also good. If you worship that through Devi, that is also fine. But we worship Paramatma, not the name and the form of Paramatma. The name and the form of Paramatma are merely something, they are a crutch, they are a guiding line. But it is not what you are worshipping. Right? So this massive outlook that the diversity in practice, unity in outlook, this concept only exists in Advaita, and we can very firmly say that this exists in India to this day only because Shankaracharya. Because Shankaracharya did such a monumental job then, the concept of so many temples existing together, anybody could have done anything after that. But the diversity is solely attributable to Bhagavad Pada. This is one more benefit that comes. Then Jagat Mithyātva. If the world is not permanent, why will you be perturbed by anything that goes on in it? Only if you think that the world is going to be here permanently and I'm stuck in it, will you be very agitated by what goes on. The second you realize that the body that I'm experiencing the world with and the world that I'm experiencing in front of me, all of this is transitory, it will change. Everything keeps changing. This also will keep going, it will move on. What need is there to be agitated by the world? So in all of these different ways, this Advaita Siddhanta is the Siddhanta that, hey, of course, as we said, it is anyhow the pure purport of the Upanishads aside, it is the Upanishad, it is the outlook that is most useful out of all the self-deemed Vedantic schools today. Out of all of these, this is the one that is most useful for fostering a peaceful community. If you want to have a progressive nation, a progressive society, Advaita is the system of thought that is most conducive to that because it accepts duality. See, Dvaita will reject Advaita, but Advaita will never reject Dvaita. Right? We will say there is difference, but there is also unity. Everyone else will say there is only difference, there is no unity. So only the Advaiti can maintain the fact that we are all one despite being different. Especially in India, there is no diversity, there is no nation that is more diverse than India. Whether it be religions or languages or climates or foods, whatever it be, there is no other place that is as diverse as India is. If you wish India to be united but diverse, then you have to come to Advaita where it says, our Ātma is one, the expressions of that Ātma can be many. Only Advaita says that, nobody else says that. So, if that is the vision that you wish to have, then Advaita is the most healthy way of getting there. So, in a nutshell, this is what the study of Vedanta is telling us. And the next few sessions you will be looking at Dashashloki. This is exactly what Dashashloki is doing. That is why I wanted to finish with this, wherein Dashashloki negates all the diversity that is there, in the sense that all the multiplicity that you see in the world, it is temporary. What is permanent is that Shiva Kevaloham. That pure Atma Chaitanya is the only thing that is permanent, and that is the underlying thread throughout all the diversity. So, in reality, what connection do I have with someone else that is there in some other nation? There is no connection that I have at all. If we are being even more blunt, there is no connection that I even have with my neighbor. What connection do I really have with him? It just so happens that we are living in houses next to each other. But otherwise, why do I care? Why do you care is what you will say only when you say, he is different, I am different, why do I care? Only when you say, I don't have a Varna, I don't have a Linga, I don't have a Gotra, I don't have a particular name and form, will you say that? Even regardless of all of this, there is still a reason to care. Because the same Atma is there in all of us. One Atma connects all of us. The Varnas or the Lingas or whatever jobs we do, these are all there. It is not that they are not there. But these do not define us. Right? This is also there. This does not define me. That is a very common parlance today. But what defines you should be your nature as the Jivatma, as the pure Atma. What you end up doing in the world is whatever situation that your body has put upon you. It is of course your duty to do that to the best of your ability. But what should you identify with? See, the main cause of conflict is you identify as one thing, somebody else identifies as something else. These two are at odds. I am Telugu, he is Tamil. Therefore, Telugu versus Tamil. I am Tamil, they are Kannada. Therefore, Tamil versus Kannada. That is why this Kaveri is there in the middle. All of that is there. So why does this happen? It is because you are identifying. The whole problem, conflict comes with identification. So what Advaita teaches us to do is, these differences are there. You do not identify with the differences. Differences are very much there and you do have to take them into account. Right? You cannot treat your mother and the wife the same way. You cannot treat your father and your husband the same way. You cannot even treat your son and the daughter the same way. Right? So difference is very much there and you must work accordingly. However, what do you identify with? What are your views based on? What defines your outlook? It should be this unity, it should not be difference. That is the biggest message of the Shashloki. Even the Nirvana Shatka is more or less the same thing. Right? It is the same template wherein the first three padas will be what I am not, the last pada is what I am. Which is why we'll finish off with that story wherein when Bhagavad Pada went from Kalati to Narmada Tira looking for Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya. When Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya asked, who are you? Bhagavad Pada's response was the Nirvana Shatka, saying, I am not anything else that will divide me from someone else. I am that entity that will unite me with everything else. I am not the body that will say that I am different from everyone in this body. I am not someone who belongs to a particular race, wherein then that will separate me from every other race. I am not belonging to a particular gender, which will then separate me from the other gender. So I am not any of that. My true nature is that Sanithyopalabdhi Swarupo Aham Atma. That's what Hastamalaka also told. So I am that Atma, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, which is that Atma that will unite me with everyone else. That Atma that is there everywhere, that is my true nature, not something that will limit my mind and limit my view. So that is the final goal of Advaita. So us getting moksha, us getting Nityananda, us getting Nityatrupti, of course that is the highest goal. But at least for right now, this outlook, the outlook that this system gives us is one that is very much needed if we are to be peaceful and keep the system around us peaceful.